Hello, hello, hello. I am wearing this because it's cold. So, need I say more? Today I'm going to be talking about lessons that I've learned from complications from a bad weather. So many of you know that right now it is cold in Texas. It's cold in so many other places as well. But we've had some complications due to bad weather report. So I just thought I talk about just to share a few lessons that I've learned from that. Because of, first of all, we recently had a winter wonderland weather, which we loved. We were like, whoa, we haven't had one in a while. And it went away, and all of a sudden, we are blessed, right, with this new onset of winter weather, which was exciting at first to see snow. But then it has led to complications such as power outage. Yes, we've had power outage. Cold people are cold. Their houses are cold because of the power outage. They need to warm up. They not only that, hunger, they need to eat because there's no fire. Electricity, if you have only electricity, you can't cook. Bless you if you have gas. So you have complications. Of course, you can't go anywhere because the weather is bad. You can't go anywhere. And then the water complications, restrictions of water because the pipes, some have complications because of water pipe busting. And so there's limitations of water and et cetera. So it just goes on and on. So there's been some major issues. In light of that, I wanted to share a few lessons that I've learned. So lesson number one is this: heat warning signs. Heat warning signs. I will be the first to tell you that I don't always pay attention to weather. My husband's the expert that tells me if it's going to be cold, if it's going to be hot. And so I usually have to rely on him to tell me what the weather is going to be. So heating warning signs is important so you know what time it is. You know what the weather is going to be or not be. So I want to remind myself and you to heed warning signs so that you can prepare ahead of time. Lesson number two is it teaches you compassion. As we're all experiencing this complications when your neighbor doesn't have water or just they're out in the car trying to warm up, they have any food. So it just helps us to be more able to relate and to have more compassion, because I know that a lot of times we experience difficulty. It just helps us to be more compassionate so that we're able to relate more to people's pain. So, and if anything, it teaches us compassion, teaches me more compassion. The third thing I've learned is don't take things for granted. It's taught me not to take things for granted. The things like water, food, shelter, clothing, those things, right? God takes care of us. He provides. But many times we just take it for granted. So don't take things for granted. The things that have now become a big deal because we don't have them. Lesson number four: always be prepared, right? As much as you can. Be prepared. It reminds me of the lesson of the 10 virgins in the Bible who were not prepared. Their lamps were not, they didn't have oils in their lamps. Guess what? The wise virgins who had oil in their lamps, they were prepared. When the bridegroom came, they went and the door was shut. And the ones that didn't have any oil, who went to go get more oil, were shut out. And it also reminds me in the book of Proverbs where it talks about the ant who prepares ahead of time for the harvest in the winter. And they're just a feeble folk. The Bible talks about them, but they prepare. Preparation is so important. The book of Proverbs 31 woman, she was prepared for her household. You know, it says she prepared for her household because of whatever may come. Preparation is important. Another lesson is when you find yourself in a difficult situation, don't make things worse. Yes. And so one of the things that it's really important whenever we have bad weather, you know how they tell us to drip your faucet overnight? That's important so that we don't get into more complications like water pipe bustings and things like that. It helps to make our situation any worse. And then finally, when you are in a difficult situation, get help. When you just can't bear it anymore,